31 Bible quotes about riches. Read by AI Voice from the NET Bible. 1. And I tell you, make friends for yourselves by how you use worldly wealth, so that when it runs out you will be welcomed into the eternal homes. The one who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much, and the one who is dishonest in a very little is also dishonest in much. If then you haven't been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will entrust you with the true riches? 2a. Riches on two levels. Temporary or eternal. Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you and say all kinds of evil things about you falsely on account of me. Rejoice and be glad, because your reward is great in heaven, for they persecuted the prophets before you in the same way. 2b. By faith, when he grew up, Moses refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to be ill-treated with the people of God than to enjoy sin's fleeting pleasure. He regarded abuse suffered for Christ to be greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, for his eyes were fixed on the reward. 3. Command those who are rich in this world's goods not to be haughty or to set their hope on riches, which are uncertain, but on God who richly provides us with all things for our enjoyment. Tell them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, to be generous givers, sharing with others. In this way they will save up a treasure for themselves as a firm foundation for the future, and so lay hold of what is truly life. 4. But worldly cares, the seductiveness of wealth, and the desire for other things come in and choke the word, and it produces nothing. 5. Because you say, I am rich and have acquired great wealth, and need nothing, but do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked, take my advice and buy gold from me refined by fire so you can become rich. Buy from me white clothing so you can be clothed and your shameful nakedness will not be exposed, and buy eye salve to put on your eyes so you can see. 6. Then he sat down opposite the offering box, and watched the crowd putting coins into it. Many rich people were throwing in large amounts, and a poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, worth less than a penny. He called his disciples and said to them, I tell you the truth, this poor widow has put more into the offering box than all the others. For they all gave out of their wealth. But she, out of her poverty, put in what she had to live on, everything she had. 7. When Jesus heard this, he said to him, One thing you still lack. Sell all that you have and give the money to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me. But when the man heard this he became very sad, for he was extremely wealthy. 8. The seed sown among thorns is the person who hears the word, but worldly cares and the seductiveness of wealth choke the word, so it produces nothing. 9. A benevolent person leaves an inheritance for his grandchildren, but the wealth of a sinner is stored up for the righteous. 10. Honor the Lord from your wealth and from the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled completely, and your vats will overflow with new wine. 11. The one who is lazy becomes poor, but the one who works diligently becomes wealthy. 12. The wealth of a rich person is like a strong city, and it is like a high wall in his imagination. 13. Here is another misfortune that I have seen on earth, and it weighs heavily on people. God gives a man riches, property, and wealth so that he lacks nothing that his heart desires. Yet God does not enable him to enjoy the fruit of his labor. Instead, someone else enjoys it. This is fruitless and a grave misfortune. 14. I have seen personally what is the only beneficial and appropriate course of action for people. To eat and drink, and find enjoyment in all their hard work on earth during the few days of their life which God has given them, for this is their reward. To every man whom God has given wealth and possessions, He has also given him the ability to eat from them, to receive his reward and to find enjoyment in his toil. These things are the gift of God. 15. Be sure you do not forget the Lord your God by not keeping his commandments, ordinances, and statutes that I am giving you today. When you eat your fill, when you build and occupy good houses, when your cattle and flocks increase, when you have plenty of silver and gold, and when you have abundance of everything, be sure you do not feel self-important and forget the Lord your God who brought you from the land of Egypt, the place of slavery, and who brought you through the great, fearful desert of venomous serpents and scorpions, an arid place with no water. He made water flow from a flint rock and fed you in the desert with manna, which your ancestors had never before known, so that he might by humbling you test you and eventually bring good to you. Be careful not to say, "My own ability and skill have gotten me this wealth." You must remember the Lord your God, for he is the one who gives ability to get wealth. If you do this, he will confirm his covenant that he made by oath to your ancestors, even as he has to this day. Now if you forget the Lord your God at all and follow other gods, worshipping and prostrating yourselves before them, I testify to you today that you will surely be annihilated. Just like the nations the Lord is about to destroy from your sight, so he will do to you because you would not obey him. 16. The blessing from the Lord makes a person rich, and he adds no sorrow to it. 17. The little bit that a godly man owns is better than the wealth of many evil men. For evil men will lose their power, but the Lord sustains the godly. 18. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great wealth and turmoil with it. Better a meal of vegetables where there is love than a fattened ox where there is hatred. 19. The wealth of a rich person is like a fortified city, but the poor are brought to ruin by their poverty. 20. Look, you make my days short-lived, and my lifespan is nothing from your perspective. Surely all people, even those who seem secure, are nothing but vapor. Surely people go through life as mere ghosts. Surely they accumulate worthless wealth without knowing who will eventually haul it away. But now, O Lord, upon what am I relying? You are my only hope. 21. When the godly see this, they will be filled with awe, and will mock the evildoer, saying, "Look, here is the man who would not make God his protector. He trusted in his great wealth and was confident about his plans to destroy others." 22. The one who loves money will never be satisfied with money. He who loves wealth will never be satisfied with his income. This also is futile. 23. God said to Solomon, "Because you desire this, and did not ask for riches, wealth, and honor, or for vengeance on your enemies. And because you did not ask for long life, but requested wisdom and discernment so you can make judicial decisions for my people over whom I have made you king, you are granted wisdom and discernment. Furthermore, I am giving you riches, wealth, and honor surpassing that of any king before or after you. 24. The one who increases his wealth by increasing interest gathers it for someone who is gracious to the needy. 25. Praise the Lord. How blessed is the one who obeys the Lord, who takes great delight in keeping his commands. His descendants will be powerful on the earth. The godly will be blessed. His house contains wealth and riches. His integrity endures. 26. But above all pursue his kingdom and righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. 27. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. 28. The plans of the diligent lead only to plenty, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. 29. Making a fortune by a lying tongue is like a vapor driven back and forth. They seek death. 30. Do not accumulate for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But accumulate for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. 31. Give a shepherd's care to God's flock among you, exercising oversight not merely as a duty but willingly under God's direction. Not for shameful profit but eagerly. And do not lord it over those entrusted to you, but be examples to the flock. Then when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that never fades away.